What is it now? Is it time for my trial already? I've decided to... What? I've already told you a gazillion times, pal, didn't do it. I'll be the judge of that, Detective Gumshoe. No, you won't. I'll be the judge of that. No, I'm the judge around here, and I'll be the judge of that. Why can't you guys be a little less judgmental? Yes, well, speaking of hasty judgments, Detective Gumshoe, I'm afraid I must apologise for an error in judgment on my part. Your Honour, I don't believe you should apologise just yet. You have yet to prove he is completely innocent of this crime. I guess so. What are you guys talking about? In any case, I'd like you to testify as to your actions while you're on guard duty. Please remember you are not on trial, this is all just a part of the investigation. As such, you may still be found to be innocent. However, if you should give false testimony... Youch! My whip will object loud and clear. If you are found to be lying, you will be held indefinitely. Understood? Gotcha, pal. Thinking back on the state of the crime scene and the judge's testimony, it's obvious that Detective Gumshoe is lying. And if I can't break his lie, then we may never get a break in his case. I came down here to his courthouse on Detective Barrett's orders. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in the front of lobby number 2. From then on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in the hallway the whole time. But my honour as a detective, I swear it weren't me, pal. He's still singing the same tired tune. In that case, I'll just have to change the melody. I know he's lying, and it's time I poured the information I need out of him.
Hold it!
You claim to have been in the hallway the whole time. However, is it not a fact that you did something while you were in that hallway? Of course I did something. I guarded the door to number 2, pal. What else? Very well then. And what exactly does guarding that door entail? Well, to put it simply... Oh, I know. It was my job to stand in front of the door without moving an inch. Oh? Detective Gumshoe, you mean to tell me that you didn't take a single step away from the door to lobby number 2? Is that really what you wish to testify to the effect of? You got it, pal. I didn't take a single step away from that door just like I was ordered not to. Why is everybody so quiet all of a sudden? Because we're all in shock and in awe of your utter stupidity. Scruffy, if you're going to lie, at least tell a more believable one. Youch! Well, I'm not lying. I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close.
Objection!
I have an objection. What is it, pal? Detective Gumshoe, I wonder if you might recognise this from somewhere. Hey, it's one of those things, the courthouse special Swiss rolls, right, pal? Precisely. In that case, I suppose that you also record a solid hallway bench. Hey, you know what? I think it was probably me that did that. Detective Gumshoe, you can't go around dirtying up a courthouse like this. You inconsiderate, slovenly pig! I promise to clean up later, I swear. Now then, shall we get down to business? About the fact that you didn't even move a single step from in front of that door. If that really were the case, then how were you able to buy a pack of Swiss rolls? Furthermore, if you didn't move a single step from in front of that door, how did you manage to get that bench dirty with your grubby hands? Youch! It appears that Francisca's whip can do more damage than my words alone can. Right, I confess, pal. I was hungry, so I bought a pack for myself, okay? Thought I'd get chewed out again if anyone found out about me eating on the job. So I didn't want to say anything. Well, fortunately... Oh shit, that's not his voice. Well, fortunately for you, I saw you do the whole dastardly deed. clearly saw you buying a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine. Okay, I'm sorry for lying. That's all I'm sorry for. You got that because I'm not holding anything else back. That last statement. It may sound like it makes sense. However, there is something I don't quite believe about it. Are you sure you're not withholding further information from us? Huh? Of course not. I've got nothing else to hide, pal. Oh, if only that were true, it said Detective Gumshoe. But it is true, pal. I swear there's nothing else. Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you're aware of the price of the pack of Swiss rolls, correct? Huh? Remind me again, pal.
That vending machine out in the hallway is selling packets of 2 Swiss rolls for $6 a pack.
No.
Yet, according to you, you didn't have any cash on you until you cashed your annual $5 annual bonus check. Isn't that right? Let me ask then, how did you manage to purchase a pack all by yourself? Can you provide me with a proper explanation to that?
I told you, pal, I bought it myself, pal. There wasn't anyone else in the hallway with me, so there's no one who could have helped me buy it. Wait, don't tell me. You got some kind of proof there was someone else in that hallway, don't you?
Correct.
As if you could. I mean, what are the chances of that?
Wait, you do? Of course I do.
What? How?
What proof do I have that there must have been someone else there in that hallway? I'm guessing it's the balloon.
Take that!
What the heck is that? I knew you didn't have anything. Oops, I got it wrong. You prosecutors are all the same. Lying always lying to people. You should stop it. I refuse to be lectured by the likes of you, detective.
Niels, how do you plan on being strung along by the moronic detective?
I have no intention of falling for his lie, because there was definitely a second person. So if he truly was alone all along, then that piece of evidence should not exist.
Is it not the balloon?
The Swiss roll?
Take that!
Hey, you showed that to me not 2 seconds ago, pal.
Wow. I think you're under the mistaken impression that I bought this pack of Swiss rolls.
Wait, if you didn't buy it, then that means you must have stolen it, you thief!
What? I would never do such a thing.
You liars are the same. You start out as thieves, you're under arrest.
I believe you meant to assert that all thieves start out as liars. But in that case, what does that say about you, detective?
Ugh.
This particular Swiss roll was dropped by a certain someone.
Oh.
There were 2 rolls in this package. You ate one of them. But you then gave the other one to a certain other person, didn't you?
No way, pal. You got it all wrong. I ate both of them.
It would appear that we've caught you at last.
Hey, don't you dare do anything too bad to that girl.
It would appear that they do know each other after all. So why do you continue to come up to me and kick me? Have I wronged you somehow?
I have a name and it's Kay.
Kay what?
Hey, Faraday.
Faraday? Are you perhaps Mr. Faraday's daughter?
Not a you, I'm Kay.
Ugh, Kay? You know, good little girls don't kick other people. Especially not hard enough to leave big nasty bruises like the way you do.
Well, then you shouldn't put Gummy under arrest, mister.
Dummy.
I guess it's actually talking about Detective Dumpster.
What a cute nickname you've given him. Gummy didn't do anything wrong.
Kay.
It appears that I will need to speak with her in a bit more detail.
Ah!
Oh, I'm running around. I'm running out of here. Get me out of here. Now then, Kay.
She's like a stray cat.
I wonder if I should feed her something.
Take that!
Hey, I promise to give you this to you if you calm down.
Oh, a Swiss roll.
It really belongs to you, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll save it for Daddy.
Oh my!
your father. He's dead.
Don't you say another word, pal. She doesn't know yet.
Thanks for watching out for me, Gummy. But I already knew about Daddy. I overheard the guards talking about how he's not here anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't protect him.
Okay.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
It's alright, let it all out. Your father just passed away after all. I myself was also involved in a case at this courthouse when I was a young child. A case in which my father, who was a defense attorney, passed away. All of my dreams of becoming a lawyer were crushed into fine ash on that nightmarish day. Even now, the wound festers deep in the depths of my soul. Ever since that incident, I've dedicated myself to locking away every criminal I can. And now, to have this happen right in front of me. This child, I feel a certain shared fate, some bond between us.
Miles Edgeworth, what sort of gentleman are you? Are you going to just stand there and watch a lady cry?
Ah, you're right. Sorry about that. Okay, here, how about we use this handkerchief here and dry your little eyes?
No! My cravat! Don't you blow your nose on that!
I feel better now, thanks.
Okay, are you going to be alright?
Yep, I'm already right.
Somehow I highly doubt that, but I'm not going to push it.
I promised Daddy I'd never cry in front of strangers.
And you're a good kid, aren't you, Kay? You always keep your promises, right?
That's right. Even if I can't see Daddy anymore, I'm still gonna keep all my promises.
You're a very brave girl, Kay.
You're a very good child for keeping the promises you made to your papa. I'll even testify that she didn't cry, just for you. Thank you very much, lady. It's nothing. I'm only telling the truth after all.
It would appear that because her father was a respected prosecutor, Francisca is sympathetic to Kay's feelings. Kay, what kind of person was your father?
Daddy was a hero of justice. His job was to catch all the bad people in the world.
So to you, a prosecutor was a hero of justice, huh? I suppose we are in a sense, as we are the ones who seek guilty verdicts for criminals.
Plus, you know what? Whenever I came to the courthouse, Daddy would buy me an absolute favourite treat, Swiss rolls.
Oh?
I'm going to be a hero of justice someday, just like Daddy. So I've been working really hard.
I see. And what have you been working hard on?
I've been working hard to keep all the promises Daddy and I made together.
A promise notebook. May I take a look inside, Kay?
Sure, okay.
It appears to be an exchange diary of sorts between father and daughter. Mr. Faraday's writing conveys a sense of the kind of man he was. This little notebook just might come in handy later. Thank you for showing it to me, Kay. I hope you'll continue to work hard and become a hero just like your father.
I'm going to try.
Hey, Kay, so I'm a detective that catches the bad people, right? That makes me a hero, too.
Yeah, you're really cool too, Gummy.
Yeah, aren't I, Kay?
What is with the two of them?
I hand down verdicts of justice, and that makes me a hero, too.
Yes, and thanks to your oh-so-heroic testimony, you almost painted that detective as a vile criminal and sent him off to jail.
I'm really sorry about that.
Gummy's not a bad man, okay?
That poor judge. He's being treated like a vile criminal rather than a hero of justice. It appears that you and Detective Gumshoe are good friends, Kay.
Yeah, we're friends.
In that case, would you mind telling me a little bit more about him? So I take it that you ran into Detective Gumshoe earlier.
Yep. I was on my way to see Daddy when I saw Gummy standing there. He was standing in the hallway staring really hard at the vending machine, so I said hi.
And when was this?
Huh? Oh, before everything got crazy.
How long were the two of you together?
We only talked for a little while, and then we went on our ways.
That's right, pal. Kay and I only talked for a little while, and that's it.
Oh, which means we have now confirmed that Kay was in the hallway during the recess, isn't that right?
Ah, you got me!
I told you, stop picking on Gummy, mister.
Very well then. I'll just have to speak with the good detective in private later. Were you the one who brought this pack of Swiss rolls, Kay?
Well, I didn't really have a lot of money. And I somehow made a dollar out of all the pennies and quarters I had. But that still wasn't enough, and I really, really wanted one.
To think of it, she did come and ask me to exchange a handful of change for $1. And that's when you came and asked me to change your money, correct?
Yeah, thanks so much for doing that, mister.
Sure. Let me ask you, even with that $1, you still didn't have enough, correct?
Well, that's why.
Hey, if you put a K anymore, I'm gonna have to arrest you, pal.
Did I remind you that you're the one already under arrest?
Yow!
I sense that Kay is going to be less than forthcoming with that question.
Sorry about your ruffling thing.
Ugh. Yes, well now that it's positively drenched in your nasal mucus. Don't worry, Kay, I have a spare. So here, you can have this one.
Daddy said, never take things from a stranger.
It's one of the promises you made in your promise notebook, correct?
Yeah, look, see? It's right here on this page.
Alright then, I'm not giving this to you. I'm merely allowing you to borrow it. You can take it home and wash it nice and clean and then give it back to me next time we meet.
Okay, Daddy never said I couldn't borrow things from strangers.
No then, Detective Gumshoe.
Uh-oh.
I believe it's now crystal clear that you were with little Kay in that hallway. Ugh.
I told you this will be me to Gummy. Miles Edgeworth, there is still something you have yet to resolve.
I beg your pardon.
You still haven't offered any explanation for why that man would lie to us.
That's... well...
Gummy, don't tell me you lied for my sake.
Hey, don't worry about it, Kay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Ah, so that's why.
So what was the detective's motive for lying? If you can't explain that, then you can't call this a perfect investigation.
His reason for lying is very simple.
What?
Here is what I believe is the reason. From simple observation of the detective's actions and his interactions with Kay, it's obvious the detective was lying for the young girl's sake. This piece of evidence will show you exactly why.
Take that!
Mr. Faraday in Kay's promise notebook, how does this explain anything?
If you could take a look at this page, it's clearly written that Kay should never take things from a stranger. When Detective Gumshoe heard about that promise, he tried to cover for Kay.
It's a foolishly foolish fool's fool of a foolish reason for a fool.
Yow!
Gummy, you lied because of me, didn't you?
Because I'm your friend, Kay, that's why.
Gummy,
At long last, Detective Gumshoe, can you please tell me the whole truth now?
Guess there's no beating you, huh, pal? Okay, I'll spill the goods. I've been standing in guard for a while. I was getting really hungry and that snack vending machine was taunting me.
but all the cash you had on you was $5 and that wasn't enough to buy anything, right? After all, the cheapest item in that machine is a $6 pack of Swiss rolls.
Yeah, but then like an angel from heaven, Kay showed up.
I was thinking about sharing a snack with Daddy, so I wanted to buy a Swiss roll, but I only had $1 in coins.
So he pulled my $5 and her $1 together, also a pack of Swiss rolls together.
Then I was worried about breaking one of my promises, so then Gummy said,
Mr. Faraday's one scary guy when he gets mad. Don't worry, you won't get in trouble if I won't tell, right? Besides, you put it with me. So you didn't really get it from me, you know?
he told me it'd be okay. And he gave me a whole Swiss roll, a whole roll to save and give it to my daddy.
Who knew that Scruffy could be considerate? Indeed. Detective, I take it that you then sat down on the bench and ate the rolls together.
Yeah, we split the other roll and ate it right then. The sweet taste of that cake's I'll never forget it as long as I live, pal.
Anyway. Hey, I believe this also belongs to you.
Oh, that's from the blue pot.
It's bad manners. Oh.
It's bad manners to leave garbage lying around, Kay. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess I can't blame you for not throwing this one piece away. It was sitting high up on a windowsill where you couldn't see it. So just this once, I forgive you.
But that balloon... I wanted to surprise Gummy a little, so I popped it on purpose. And because of me, Gummy dropped his half of the Swiss roll.
Aha, you really got me there, pal.
So I thought maybe I should get Gummy this other roll. Then I saw you picking on Gummy, mister.
So you kicked me, is that it?
You sure are a feisty one. Really sorry, mister.
It's alright, I'm perfectly unharmed. But about this Swiss roll, would it be alright with you if I held on to it until Detective Gumshoe is cleared of all charges and free to go?
Yeah, sure. Just make sure you give it to Gummy afterwards, okay?
Of course, I promise. Now then, I believe we have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway for the entire duration of his duty, which undeniably proves that Detective Gumshoe could not have committed the double murders.
Objection!
Actually, it proves just the opposite, Edgeworth. You've just shown that Detective Gumshoe was the only one who could have committed the crime.
What do you mean?
It's quite rude to eavesdrop, monsieur. I'm getting lectured on manners by a girl with a penchant for whipping people. How dare you talk back with such insolence? You're wrong, lady. Gummy's not a bad guy. Oh, what have we here? What is a child doing here in the courthouse? Bailiff, please take this child away.
Miss Callisto, that girl is Mr. Faraday's...
I know. So what? You think that just because she's the victim's daughter, she gets to just run wild all over the crime scene? I think it's actually quite dangerous for her to speak nothing of getting underfoot.
I suppose you're right, however...
As long as we're in agreement on that point, let's get back to the real issue at hand. Now then, Detective, you're in front of the door lobby number 2 the entire time, correct?
Yeah, but...
You see, isn't it obvious that he could have been the only detective?
Could have only been the detective.
He is the only person who could have gone into lobby number 2 at the time of the murders.
Ugh. I have no counter-argument to that.
Don't worry, I've already put the necessary paperwork for his formal arrest.
But the investigation is far from over.
Oh, that's right. I was going to speak with you about that. Don't you think it's reckless to talk to the suspect out in the open without a guard?
I suppose it is.
Oh, someone with more experience in law than you, allow me to share something. Always keep a good eye on the criminal, or you may regret what comes of your negligence. Oh, Miles, I can't believe you're letting this woman lecture you like this. This is unforgivable as a disciple of Von Carla. Down, Tigress. Now then, I'll be looking forward to the result of your investigation. So, we're back to square one.
Actually, this is our last chance. Tell that if we fail to solve this case, Detective Gumshoe will be formally charged under all of the circumstantial evidence. This investigation is not over yet. There's still one location we have yet to inspect. It's where Detective Band and Miss Hugh were at the time of the crime, lobby number 1. This is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent.
It smells like flowers. Not bad. Is this it?
Is that Detective Bad and Kay over there?
It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff.
No, that's not quite it.
Oh, too bad. It's so pretty.
I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. Since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it.
Thanks. I'll treasure it always.
Those two seem to get along rather well.
Oh, here. I've got something else for you.
Yay, thank you, Uncle Bear. Earlier I ate one of these with Gummy.
Gummy? Oh, you mean gumshoe.
Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was going to get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy... I know he didn't kill Daddy.
Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying.
I'm not crying.
Hey,
Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too.
Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being?
You're not involved in the investigation, so it's the best that you can do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant, so I'm related to the investigation.
Is that so, Detective Bad?
yeah, I guess.
What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene, and now you let this child run free? Why?
People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You already also has a few things she wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I'm curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into.
Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay?
Alright, I'm counting on you.
Oh, that's right. Hey, mister.
Yes, what is it?
I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy, I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay?
I'm going to forgive whoever did this, but in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. This television is the same one as the one in defendant lobby number 2.
Looks like the two rooms are basically the same in terms of layout and supplies.
Yes. The two rooms are basically the same, huh? I can see down into the courthouse courtyard from here.
What is that mist supposed to be? It's like an optical illusion.
I believe it's supposed to be postmodern design.
More like thoughtlessness in design.
I can't disagree there. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for?
Nothing that concerns you, boy.
Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay.
It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste.
It sounds like he'd rather be left alone. Here's something I'd like to confirm with you once again.
I don't have anything to say to you.
Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is this overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate.
It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spills some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window. But that smell's still here.
Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume.
Wow, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand.
She said it's a famous brand from overseas.
It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff.
No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it.
It was bought for much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as you have just so happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail.
Ugh. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? So, now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. So, you were in this room the entire recess.
Like I said,
I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here.
At least your story is consistent.
Earlier, you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. And what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations. Yes, I am. Interesting.
Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you.
Ugh. Let's see, Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KG8 incident, and as I recall, Detective Banner was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard CC, because you were the lead detective on the case. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving the Cadopian MC staff member is being referred to as the second KG8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday, and the KG8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG8 incident. Faraday, you and I. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. I mean a smuggling ring involving one of the Mano Group's secretaries. That trial was just a front.
A facade?
Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Mano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then, what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring, but he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man, just another scapegoat. The boss man of the Amino group, he can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amino. That can't be right, it's probably just Detective Band's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Amino of being involved with smuggling?
I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he was confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. Since he's already been acquitted of her once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go?
If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. And that wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, CC, I was supposed to protect them both. Miss Yu did mention that as well, about how Detective Band was supposed to guard her sister. But even I was supposed to protect them. I fell into their trap.
What kind of trap?
The hole in this jacket are a testament to that trap.
You mean you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight?
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. He had hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. About when you first met Miss Yu, it was on the day the verdict of the KG8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes, and Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face.
Well, she certainly has a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me,
not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough.
I suppose not. You said it herself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again.
But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct?
Yeah, Faraday and I, even after the KG incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and get involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring.
Is the ring really that big?
It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial relating to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them.
Oh shit. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them?
Yeah. You was pursuing the ring as best as she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason.
Come to think of it, wish you did say something to the same effect. I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding that KG8 incident, alright?
And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer.
Don't put words in my mouth, I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him ever, so don't you dare suggest I was going to. It doesn't matter what our reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable.
You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you, that's how naive you are.
How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma?
Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all.
The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman.
You two are still too young. One day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all.
So, what's your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well.
I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor, known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together.
But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve?
I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either.
I sense that there's more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me?
What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel.
I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu.
What?
The KG8 incident and the second KG8 incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. In both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu, however, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time.
A reason, huh?
And so in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu.
If it will help you solve this case. Then I'll tell you the reason why we never caught the Yatagarasu.
What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident.
Ugh. It still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever.
I see, so those are the Yatagarasu special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief.
The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away.
But you can't use that sort of logic on his own to prove that he wasn't.
Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kodopian embassy, the Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu sent the evidence.
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about.
In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it?
That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu used was attached. That's how I can be so sure.
And just what sort of card was it?
Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was.
And that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes.
His Honour would like to transfer this evidence from today's trial over to you. So, if you can please head to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir.
Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you?
Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive.
I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth.
It appears that His Honour is still a bit dispirited.
For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. And I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony.
Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honour. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francisco, there's no need to further depress His Honour. And I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honour.
Eh?
Your Honour, I've come to collect the evidence that must be transferred to me. Your Honour, the evidence?
Your Honour. Oh. You, yes, can I help you?
I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honour, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job?
Yes, I'm sorry. And I would expect that the defense attorney has yet to arrive.
She's busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we?
Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Bell are also included, so please go and use them in your investigation to this case.
Understood, Your Honour. Pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. Maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth.
I've placed all the evidence over the prosecutor's bench for you.
I see, thank you very much. I'll go and confirm that they are all accounted for. So, this is the evidence related to today's Kodopian embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag. You mean to say Oh my god, don't even say any of that.
You mean the evidence that was on the table in lobby number 2, right?
Yes, finally we can now take a look at the evidence itself and not just data about it. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time.
Agreed. I want to take a good look at all the evidence from the embassy murder too.
Why is that?
Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about.
Ugh. Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something.
And don't you dare try to order me around just because Papa chose you today.
I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also... Oh,
It's also real to see the knife up close.
so we have the knife, the gun, and envelope. And what's this organizer doing here?
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you.
About what, Your Honour?
They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer in that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation.
Detective Bad said that?
What a strange stroke of luck.
Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. We might as well flip through it too. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday.
Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act?
And it's never crossed your mind that you used your riding crop for the wrong purpose. This gun, it was originally used to kill the Cadopian Embassy staff member. The crime was reported. The responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to the immediate arrest.
And then, this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn about from this piece of evidence. Mr. Faraday's organizer, it appears he was in the habit of using it.
It looks like he wrote a strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here.
It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in this case. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the... Oh.
And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder.
This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later.
Look, here's a picture stuck between these pages here.
It appears to be a key.
And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design of the handle.
The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer?
Yatagarasu's key.
Detective Bad says up earlier. What's different about it this time was the evidence. Blah. We already have read this.
Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep the secret key safe.
It's a prosecution on both that Yatagarasu and smuggling ring case. That's to be expected. That's odd.
What is it?
Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer.
That certainly is odd.
The weapon that was used to kill Mr. Cadopia's staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from?
Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell. That's the only logical conclusion, right?
No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside.
In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse?
I need to think carefully here. There is nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, if it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Firstly, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I will need to take another look at the evidence.
Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me?
Actually, I do know the answer, Francisco.
What? What? Then what is it?
One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been handing a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse.
Take that!
This is Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse.
You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth.
You just need to look a bit closer, Francisco, to see what I mean. Don't the colour and what does that say? Ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything?
They do remind me of the knife.
Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife.
You don't seriously mean to say?
It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same.
But that's impossible.
Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine the knife in a little more detail.
I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing.
So, the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now.
Frankly, I'm shocked.
Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding the knife blade inside.
But if that's true, then only someone who knew about this key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday.
Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. Great thief Yatagarasu.
Then maybe Mr. Rao really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario?
No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rao was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier,
I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu.
It seems that this key is truly the key to solving the case. So a quick look through these documents before the trial started.
Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it.
I suppose I should explain it to you then.
Yes, you should, perfectly and entirety, if you please.
On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Macfarrell was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot.
A simpleton of a man, that's what he was.
Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act on film by a security camera.
He was an even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice the security camera.
The Cadopian Embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area.
So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself?
Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Brett on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear.
So, the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I've ever wanted to see the moment of someone's death in real life.
Me neither. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rell committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed?
Have you done with your inspection of the evidence?
Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honour, I'm missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence.
Your Honour,
were you derelict in your duties?
What? No, I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for?
No, Your Honour, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial, the surveillance video, is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me.
But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene.
There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I will have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant lobby number 2. Oh, look who it is!
Not so fast.
That's Detective Bad, but who is he with?
I've never seen that officer before.
So did you find it?
Not yet, and I've looked everywhere.
I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Heh, so you're the one running the show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes.
How dare you? Just who do you think you are? What was that all about, and who was that man just now?
Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life.
Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids?
It looks like you were paying attention after all.
Of course I was. I have eyes at the back of my head. Ah, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now?
The guy came here from the Republic of Zenfar. Study. He's Agent Lang.
He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of entertainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication.
He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy is more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude.
Oh, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time.
I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad?
Earlier, the little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well.
Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you.
I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I'll take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him.
That is one tiny TV.
Detective Gumshoe was rather shocked at this and said it was huge compared to his own.
Anything you can compare with something he owns will always seem grandiose.
Speaking of grandiose, I say that ego of yours could be used a little deflating. Earlier, you said you were in lobby number 1 and now you're here in lobby number 2. You were quite the busy man, Detective Bad.
Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success, that's what we detectives say.
I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked you about what happened again, correct?
I don't have anything left to say to you, boy.
Ugh. Boy? You'll see, I will draw my answer from you one way or the other.
Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation?
I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think?
Ah!
Please, we are asking you for just a little bit more of your time, of your cooperation.
Don't push me, kid.
I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime.
I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about?
Things you don't know about, but aren't you supposed to know everything?
He should. Wait, is it possible maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence? I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Detective Bad, did you notice the existence of the item in this photograph?
Of course I did.
It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and his Yatagarasu key are one and the same? What? That's impossible.
It looks like he didn't know after all.
This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Bell was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea what it was, in fact, a knife. That it was, in fact, a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for. Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday, that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad, so that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more. Alright, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened, nothing will change. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same, and this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up, and find the truth behind this case. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2.
It sounds like the exact same story that he told us before.
Indeed, however, I feel like we have yet to draw all the information that we can. It's a nice little hint that I have to press them.
Hold it!
I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu. Trivial stuff, it was nothing important. That's for me to decide. Right, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then.
Hold it!
Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sound until that gunshot. If the gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder, that would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. There's the balloon.
Objection!
Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same colour as the one Kay was holding.
Oh, so you knew that about the girl's balloon?
Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh? So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh?
On top of that, His Honor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes.
Oh, yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at the time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So? Don't give me a so.
We just proved that there's a flaw in your testimony.
The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivety cracking. Since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever start to think that why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked.
What is that supposed to mean?
Doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Then you mean? So I was shut up inside lobby number 1. There was no way I could have heard that sound.
No!
Ugh. I knew that's what he was going to say.
Then that means that scruff-faced testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle.
That's also why it's only natural that I did hit a balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids?
Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around.
The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, the person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bat, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realise the contradiction in your own words. Oh, how so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of a gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought.
Which means exactly what, Miles? In the end, what does this all boil down to?
It boils down to this: there must be a reason as to how Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have.
It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh?
The state of the crime scene. Wait, can it be? It's that ultra perfume you wear. She spilled some of it. Whoa! Way too noisy.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely between these open barred windows. No? Okay. No, and what else besides a smell can go in both in and out of an open barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the window was open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. The missing piece of evidence is a video. It shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place.
Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again.
It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look.
Where would that be?
I believe we should examine the television. TV? Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. It's a video player, and there seems to be videotape inside.
It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end.
This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape?
I suppose, but...
Detective Bad, would it be alright with you if I verified the contents of this video? Sure, knock yourselves out.
Alright, then let's rewind this and see what we have.
If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be around the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. This should be about right. Now let's see. This is the footage of Mr. L shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. Sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshots he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. You mean you figured it all out then? Yes, all I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced. Now to show what the gunshot Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. This piece of evidence will clear the way. Oops.
Miles, I believe that piece may actually be proof of a different loss of sorts. It proves that today will be your last day as a prosecutor.
It appears I've made a mistake. Is it the window then? Well, they heard it through the TV, coming out the window, same thing. If the door and window to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser.
That's true, this courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were.
However, what really happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot.
Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. Naturally, the people in those locations could hear it.
Ah, but then why would the criminal open the window in the first place?
To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose.
Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this.
Why was that necessary in the first place? What's a real answer, Miles? I demand satisfaction.
Very well. I believe the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it the killer wanted to manipulate our perception was? Of when the crime took place. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so.
So that's why the tape was left running.
The gunshot I heard was from this video. Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Miss Edgeworth! Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She said that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something.
It looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something.
Understood. Please tell her I will be right over. Oh, come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. To be continued. See you guys in the next episode.